Hey everyone, this is Matt, host of True History of the Silver Screen. Alright, so tonight guys, we're going to check out a viewer request that we check out the movie Britannic. Although I'm not quite sure, I'm almost pretty sure that they made this one based off of the James Cameron movie Titanic. Trying to cash in on some extra dough. Alright, so tonight, it's not just going to be me. I have some special guests joining me on the show.
Howdy, I'm Colin.
Hello, I'm Sam.
So we're just gonna give a rough rundown of this movie. The Britannic was a ship that was, I think they called it a med ship. It was more used to transport people that were not 100% well to somewhere where maybe they could get better. I mean, never really looked that much into it, but it was a med ship where, you know, they did have a lot of sick people. One of the passengers identified themselves as, you know, military intelligence. Gave the captain a note saying, "Hey, just so you know, I get free roam of the ship," everything like that. And sure enough, some sketchy shit was gonna go down on that ship. Sam, what are your thoughts on this?
Ooh, top of the line CGI, I must say. No, I mean for 2000, it's not bad CGI, but like, it's noticeable.
The movie Britannic was kind of interesting. Some of the stories, not sure if they had munitions on board. I don't think that's ever been proven. It's kind of to give the movie some more pizzazz. Some of the scenes are interesting, but overall it's a decent movie.
Alright, so before we get into the spoilers of the movie, we're just going to kind of break it down, give you a rating on, how we felt about it, whether we would recommend this movie for you. Honestly, it was a made-for-TV movie. You can check it out on YouTube right now for free. You get some commercials in there, whatever. It's no different than watching it on TV. For an hour and a half movie, it wasn't bad. I mean, it carried me through without really boring me too much. So I would say this is definitely worth checking out. It's above, out of 10 stars, it's above 5 stars, maybe a 7.5, somewhere in there. I mean, yeah, check it out. At least in my opinion. Sam?
Yeah, I'll agree. Because I was expecting it like Keegan's 92nd Titanic, but it definitely wasn't as drama-y as it kind of says in the title. Like there was some there, but it wasn't all there. It was definitely a decent watch. So I would recommend it. I would do a 7.5 as well. And yeah, definitely recommend it. And if we can, we'll try and throw the link in the description below.
Colin?
Yeah, I agree with everyone. 7. Was it compared to James Cameron? I'd say it's a little better. It's just me. Spoiler break over. So if you watch after this, we're going to ruin it for you. But it was kind of interesting, how they kind of mixed the launch of the Britannic with World War I that was going on. And the ship that was originally designed to be a cruise ship like the Titanic was renovated to be a hospital ship for all the wounded soldiers down in Italy, I believe. Greece.
Yeah, Italy and Greece, yeah.
To help the war out, help try to get the wounded out of there. Britannic, being the hospital ship she was, everything on board should be hospital supplies and all that stuff.
It was interesting they showed footage of the Lusitania because that was technically another ship that was sunken during the war.
So, in this movie, Captain Barrett was the captain of the ship. What?
Barrett.
I don't think that
Not
was
Barrett?
his name.
No? Wasn't Barrett?
No.
No, it's Charles Bartlett that was the captain of the Britannic.
Bartlett. Captain Bartlett was captain of the ship of the Britannic. But for some reason in the movie, I'm pretty sure they called him Captain Barrett.
So for any Lord of the Rings fans that are out there, Captain Barrett is actually played by the actor that did Gimli. You can tell by when he calls out one time, it's pretty noticeable.
All right, so the movie kind of focuses on like the arms and stuff that they were supposedly carrying. Now, to my knowledge and the research that we've done, there has been no proof that they were carrying arms during the time. Some say that's the reason why they were torpedoed by the U-boat, but I don't know. There's no proof, but you'll see a lot of arms, and I think that part of the movie is not accurate.
Yeah, in a weird parallel, it kind of seemed like they wanted to make a Lusitania movie because that ship technically was smuggling ammunition across. But for a med ship, like, it makes sense that only the soldiers would have their arms on them just in case. But as a med ship, it shouldn't have gone into harm because there was like kind of a truce upon that between all parties.
And the thing that was kind of cruddy about that is the Lusitania was a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And they were, I don't want to say scummy enough to throw it on that ship, but that was just kind of bad of them because they just painted a huge target on that ship.
Maybe they should have called it the Lusitanic because there was a lot of Titanic references in the movie as well as the Lusitania.
Yep.
So maybe scratch the Britannic, the Lusitanic. But in real life, with what we know and what we've learned, there was never a spy on board. There was never a shootout. So it just, I don't know. It's a story to get you involved, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go ahead and get into the sinking of the Britannic. All right. So in this movie, you know, there's a U-boat that's trying to keep up with the Britannic throughout the whole movie, but in reality, with the speed of the boat, there's no way it would have been able to have, you know, kept up the whole time. Towards the end, spoiler, the one guy, the spy that was on board, dropped like a kerosene bottle with fired down into the shaft, caused it to explode. He, prior to that, did open up all the hatch doors, so very similar to Titanic. The water would just go right in. You know, in reality, it does look more evident that the Britannic hit a sea mine, and that's what actually caused the damage to the hull and caused it to sink.
All right, so in the movie, it shows the explosion from the kerosene bottle going out on the port side. In reality, the sea mine struck the ship on the starboard side of the bow.
So the captain's idea was just to try to beach the ship since they were pretty close to the shore. But in the end, it kind of was a downfall. All the watertight doors were open, but the nurses also opened all the portholes, and which made it kind of sink a little bit faster.
All right, so now for the grisly side of the story. You know, unfortunately, 30 people did lose their lives on the Britannic. None of them were due to the sinking, like none of them drowned in the water. Unfortunately, the propeller scene that they definitely cleaned up in the movie was true. The first two lifeboats were sucked backwards into the propellers, caused pretty massive casualty through that sense. Blood was splattered everywhere, the water, the boat, the sides, the blades, everything. But the movie just shows the boat getting chopped up and just wood flying. But it was a pretty grisly scene from witnesses that were in the area. You know, the captain didn't even realize what had happened here. The story is that some of the guys that were working down in the engine room area had left a little early to go dispatch the lifeboats prior to them being called out. So there was really no way of slowing down those propeller blades.
They're still going full speed ahead, trying to beach that ship. And one of the scenes kind of intrigued me because I'm like, if any of y'all know a triple expansion steam engine, now I'm not an expert. If you guys know better, let me know down in the comments down below. But going full speed with water coming into it obviously is not good for the engine. It's a hot engine versus cold water. That'll cause it to seize. But you see it exploding. Now, after it exploded, wouldn't you think one of the set of engines would have stopped running at that point? That's where I'm just confused. So, passing along that, it wasn't short after the few lifeboat scenes that you see that the people get chopped up, unfortunately, that the captain gave the final orders for everyone to abandon ship. Now, to my knowledge, the captain was on the helm when the water was coming in when he gave that signal to go. So luckily everyone that waited was able to get off the ship in time. And with the bow of the ship going down, eventually it did hit the bottom of the seafloor, and that's what caused the ship to start tilting. Now, since there's more weight on the starboard side, that's why it chose the starboard way to fall and go in the water. And that scene is probably correct, with the funnels falling down, everything clashing into the water. But the scene definitely probably sped it up just for the movie's sake of it. It probably happened in, what, you say 5 minutes all in all, once it hit the ground?
I mean, pretty quickly after, yeah, but not just like...
Yeah, it wasn't like instant, but it definitely started just... Because you still have to let the air out, and that's going to cause it to slow down a little bit, so it's going to take time.
So the main character of this movie was somebody that was also on the Titanic, which there was actually a couple of those that were on the Britannic. The most popular of that one is Violet Jessup, which we actually talked about in another Cools review. If you want to check it out, we'll link it in the comments below. At least they kept that to it, because there was a couple people that survived the Titanic and then hopped on another ship, which would be kind of traumatizing. Yeah. Especially if you survive 2 sinkings, then it's just like, yeah, fuck ships.
Yep. Right, so we kind of gone over the accuracies of the movie, the inaccuracies. There's been quite a few, but let's just give it our final thoughts here, and where we truly stand on the movie Britannic.
I mean, one of my favorite scenes is the I think they would be called first mates, so like the second in command grabbed Bar Lewis gun and then was just like open firing at the torpedo and hit the torpedo. I mean,
it's pretty kick butt.
It was pretty sick, but like it's also pretty hard.
So all in all, I still think it's a good movie. I like how they're trying to bring more attention to the Britannic and try to get people to realize that that's another ship that had this tragedy, and try to make people think more about it as well. I know the Titanic, everyone knows about Titanic, but did you know about the Britannic? That's the question. I still like the scenes with the triple expansion steam engine, even though it's wrong. I still like the engine. So,
I was just a little disappointed Rose did not get on the ship. I thought she would have done it. Thank goodness no Celine Dion music in this one. Favorite scene, probably similar to Sam. Some of the action was a little funny, the way they played it out, but it caused for some good scenes. The
firing guns in the engine room.
Yeah, firing guns in the engine room. That's a smart idea right there.
Steam everywhere.
Yeah.
It's great.
But and then just how believable everyone was. The prison guard, the one lonely prison guard there that was housing the jailmate, the first officer or whatever the second in command was, came down and said, "Oh, captain's order. I get to see this." And right away, without hesitation, "Oh yeah, sure, go ahead. No paperwork needed, nothing like that. Let him in and pay the price."
Carrying his Bible.
Yep. All right, so let's take a look at the 3 movies we have watched. The Lusitania movie, the Titanic engine room movie, and Britannic. Where does this kind of fall on your list out of those 3?
That's a tough choice. I'd probably put Saving the Titanic as one, because that one was just so different than normal Titanic. It was actually it was fascinating and pretty intense. I'd probably put maybe the Lusitania and then the Britannic. Britannic had a lot of they wanted to make a Lusitania movie, so it just, if that wasn't a part of that, then maybe it would probably be second. But no, it's still up there.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I'm going to do the same with Sam, just because though the Saving the Titanic one had the wrong engines, it's not triple expansion. Not triple expansion. They have the height. Just not triple expansion. I just like the view, or it's a different view, or different stories you hear from that. I do like that. So that would definitely be one, then the Lusitania, then the Britannic, unfortunately.
I think we're all in agreement here. I as well would rank them the exact same order. The Saving the Titanic, just like Sam was saying, had a lot more into it. It was exciting. You learned a little bit about it, and although the wrong information was presented, but you still did learn some stuff that was accurate. Well, all movies do it. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a movie that was 100% accuracy, unless it was a real life movie.
To be honest with you, they're working with what they got, and I'm not at all downing that movie. I'm not at all. They did pretty good. Definitely go watch it.
All three of them did good.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're looking at the budget that these films had and everything like that. They did very well for what they had.
Exactly.
I mean, not knocking Britannic at all, putting it in last on the list, but definitely still one. Check it out. It was worth watching. Yeah.
I mean, it's the last on the list of comparing three separate ships.
So, serious question. So, not documentaries. Of those three ships, which one's your favorite?
Lusitania.
Titanic.
I'm gonna have to go with the Titanic, just because of the luxury, the style, the life that some people were able to live. And yes, it had its poor part, its poverty parts, but just to see the luxury and the excitement of being with people and family, and not other just crewmates or people who are sick or ill where you're tending to them. If I were to would have been stuck on one of those ships, I think I would have picked Titanic as the ship, even knowing that it's sank. I mean, they all sank, but
Lusitania was there for luxury. It was a cruise ship, essentially.
Fastest ship on the water.
Essentially, you think of like Disney cruises, that's the Lusitania.
I mean, that was all of them. It was an arm race.
Yep.
Lusitania has always been my favorite, though. Britannic's a close second, though.
Yeah.
Just Titanic. I love Titanic. I love them all.
because of the movie. He has a soreness in his heart for Titanic now because of James
loves
Cameron.
the movie.
Night to
But that's
Remember.
why- I mean, I would say Titanic. It would have been exciting to be on that first one, even though it had a tragic end. But like, it still would have been an experience.
I'd rather be stuck down there partying it up with third class in the Irish parties, or with the Yuppets up in first class where they smoked cigars and drank fine wine or scotch and sat around like like rich people. Like, I mean,
Nah,
like, where
I'd
would
be up
you
in the ruffians down.
They were thrown down, man. Like, that'd be fun. Like, I would live it up with third class passengers.
Oh yeah, I would
Like, I'm gonna put myself lower. I'll be in the engine room.
The engine room.
fair.
That's hot down there. It's
Oh, stay
sweating
warm.
like that, right? Right, so to our viewer that recommended the Britannic, thank you for your recommendation. As always, we invite you guys, if there's a movie you want us to check out, the accuracies, the history, whether, how true it is, what's farce about it, just let us know in the comments down below. We check it out all the time, and we would love to check out a movie that you might suggest. As always, if you'd like to check out more, the true history of the silver screen, click on the link right here. For more of us here at Cool's Paranormal, click on the link right here. And don't forget, click on that like and give us a subscribe. And change that notification bell from personalized to all. That way you get most up to date with all our new stuff that comes out.
Be prepared for the 12-hour Allosaurus video.
Yeah, the 12-hour Allosaurus video.